Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to A Borderline Personality. This is episode, oh God, why do I always do this to myself? 10, and it is on substance abuse. So, substance abuse usually goes hand in hand with mental health. Those people who are struggling with mental health usually use substances or drugs to get themselves out of the mental state that they are in. And if you are struggling with mental health and substance abuse, usually that is called a dual diagnosis. And today I'm going to be talking about my experiences with substance abuse. And I know I've done episodes on like drugs and stuff, but this time we're really going to get deeper into just what type of substances that I was abusing. So when I was in high school, I was smoking weed. Not a lot, but I was smoking weed. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. The first time I smoked weed ruined everything for me mentally. Because at that point, the first time I got high, I could not tell whether medications were working or not unless they got me high. Which was why Adderall was the only medication that worked for me when I was trying to find a medication for ADHD. So ever since then, I've tried a lot of different medications. Sorry, today I cannot talk. Since then, I have been trying out new medications for depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and I just can't find one because none of them, they're not supposed to get you high. They're just not. They're supposed to help you with your mood, but I can't tell if they help because they're not getting me high. So if you're smoking weed or doing any of that, I really just suggest that you stop because it's going to affect your medications. It's going to affect if you can tell they're working or not. So smoking weed was really the only thing that I did up until probably my junior year of college. During my junior year of college, I started experimenting with acid and LSD, which, by the way, those are the same things. I didn't really know that until last year, but I started to try LSD with my friends, and we soon went to shrooms. We started taking mushrooms, and I really didn't like it. I didn't like acid. Was okay, but I did not like shrooms because I just am one of those people that I can't be high for 16 hours. I don't know if you relate to that, but with weed, obviously you're just high for an hour or so and then you unhigh. But with acid, LSD, it was just I was just too high for too long and it wouldn't go away, and it just put me in a state of mind that I had no idea what was happening and I could not control myself or my body. As far as drinking, I never was a really heavy drinker. I didn't really enjoy drinking, partly because I'm Asian and when I drink I turn super red, so it's super obvious if I've had a drink or not. The only time when I was drinking a lot was when I was on Adderall in college. The crash was so bad that if I didn't have weed or anything, I would drink to kind of alleviate the crash. So I experimented with weed, LSD, shrooms for a little bit, but I really only stuck to weed. And it wasn't until the end of my junior year of college where I started experimenting with cocaine with some of my high school friends. And this is what I was really getting into, was the addiction that cocaine had on me and the way that I abused it. It was so different than weed because it when I was on weed, I was just like dead. I used to, like, in high school and like part of college, I would smoke weed and like I would do my homework and I would like clean and I would get stuff done. But then at a certain point, it was just like I would just like sit on my ass and like do nothing. So the difference with cocaine and weed is that like cocaine makes you like, it gives you energy and it gives you motivation, which is why people get so addicted to it, because it gives you the ability to do something instead of just getting high and eating all the time. And so I struggle with addiction to cocaine, and I struggled with that for a really long time, and it's an everyday struggle. And one of the things that really drew me to it was the fact that it did give me the energy to just do school. The crash of cocaine was not, in my opinion, was not as bad as like the crash of Adderall. And so I started substituting cocaine for Adderall to get me through school. And that was not good because like the price of coke compared to weed is like, there's no comparison. Like cocaine is just so expensive. And so like my addiction to cocaine started probably around junior year of high school. And at first my friends and I, we would only do it during like New Year's or like 4th of July. But then we started making up like holidays, like, oh, it's school starting, like let's get a gram of coke, or like it's Halloween, like cocaine, Christmas, Easter, like all those holidays, until it just became a habit. And that's kind of where I got addicted to it. And who you hang out with is so important to like who you're gonna become. Because if you're hanging out with drug addicts, all they're going to want to do is drugs. And I had to learn that the hard way because I quickly became addicted to cocaine. And this is something that I was never going to share on this podcast. But again, the purpose of this podcast is to be completely open and honest and vulnerable. And I just want to put this out there because I know other people are struggling with it as well. So my addiction to cocaine specifically was, and it's not like I'm blaming my friends. I'm not blaming my friends. Obviously, I made my own choices, but who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with, they have a really big impact on your life. So right now I told you guys that I was going to a 30-day program, a dual diagnosis program that's going to treat addiction and borderline personality disorder. And addiction is something that like I had to come to terms with, that it's going to be like a lifelong struggle. I am not sure whether, I'm like really nervous to go into treatment because like I just don't want to leave my cat. Like straight up, I don't want to leave my cat. So, and it's not even the fact that like I'm gonna have to stay sober or anything. Like I don't want to leave my cat. So that's like one of my biggest issues right now. Another issue that I'm having with this 30-day treatment is I hate sleepaway anythings, like even sleepovers with friends. Like I hate them. I like waking up in my own bed. I like going to sleep in my own bed. I'm a homebody. And I know this kind of got off track with the whole substance abuse thing, but just like bear with me. So going back to substance abuse, if you are struggling with substance abuse, please tell someone. You have to tell someone, or else it's going to eat you up. It's going to take all your money. It's going to ruin your life. And like it did mine. Like I think back and it's like, how much money would I have if I didn't use cocaine so much? Like I would have millions of dollars. And that just like shocks me every time, because it's like, wow, I could have been a millionaire and I'm not. Like I wouldn't have money issues. I wouldn't have any issues financially. I would be completely independent. And so just like if you have or are having substance abuse issues, please reach out to someone. Even if it's me, you can message me, you can call me. I will give you my cell phone number, except for these next 2 weeks because I'll be in a treatment program. But the other problem with using substances when you are dealing with mental health is that substances change the chemicals in your brain. And so your diagnosis could be completely wrong due to whatever substances you are using, which is the crazy thing about drugs and like mental health, is that they go hand in hand. So if you're like, the reason why people have to detox before they go into rehab or like a mental health program is because you can't tell whether someone has a certain mental health illness unless they're sober. So that's kind of like why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not really talking about the substance abuse things that I have now because I'm trying to keep that on the DL, but I did want to talk about how it affects just like your diagnosis. So that's it for now, because it's been 11 minutes and you know me, we don't do long podcasts. So thank you so much for listening. The next episode is going to be on road rage. So tune in for that, and I will see you soon.